Dragon and Chameleon is a battle manga about making manga. And it's awesome. The story follows two manga artists, one being Garyou Hanagami, a veteran at the top of his game. He has an ongoing serialized manga called Dragon Lair in Shonen Wonder. It's this universe's version of Shonen Jump, and it's a hit. He's got an anime adaptation on the way, and the manga itself is slowly starting to wrap up without any pressure of being axed, and... oh yeah, the other guy. His name's Shinobu Miyama. He's the assistant of Hanagami-sensei, and he's got a bit of an attitude problem. Can't find any consistent work because no one wants to work with him. But he does have an incredible talent. No matter the artist, no matter the genre, whoever this guy works for, he can copy their every little detail and quirk. Hence the nickname, Chameleon. But Miyama hates this about himself. He hates living in the shadows of other artists, but he can't seem to come up with anything original himself, so he's stuck as an assistant. A very talented assistant, but an assistant nonetheless. Until one day, he dies. Sorry, okay, he doesn't die, but one day he does take a heavy tumble down the stairs, and as he falls, his selfless boss Hanagami tries to reach out to save him, but he also takes a heavy tumble. And when Hanagami finally awakes from his concussion nap, he finds himself in a hospital and in the body of his angsty assistant, which of course must mean...
Finally awake, hey sensei.
Huh, figures. Based on the fact that I wound up in your body, it stands to reason that you'd conversely wind up in my body. This is really something right out of a manga, huh? Now we're gonna have to figure out a way to get back to our own bodies and...
Get back? You must be joking. Finally, I'm not just a face. I've become a world-famous artist just like I always dreamed.
Your dream? This freaky flip? What you've dreamt of is leaving your mark on the world as Shinobu Miyama, right? As yourself.
A chameleon with no real individuality. So banal. That life means nothing to me. I'm more than happy to live as an oh-so-popular manga artist, Garyou Hanagami.
As the man said, Miyama is more than happy to continue living his life in Hanagami's body. He gets everything he ever wanted, a popular manga series. He won't be in other artists' shadows. Everything he believes he couldn't achieve himself. And with the ability to copy anyone's style, he can do just that without raising suspicion, at least in the art department. We'll touch on that later. But clearly, Chameleon isn't willing to shed his skin to give Hanagami his body back. And so begins the story of a mangaka who was once #1, starting his journey back to the top from rock bottom. Reclaiming his rightful spot in Shonen Wonder back from Chameleon, aka himself, he has to compete with his own hit manga series. But that's what's interesting. Hanagami can't just make Dragonland again. He has to come up with something new and with a new art style, or he'll be accused of copying, well, himself. He really has to start fresh here, and watching a veteran who was at the top of his game, who got comfortable in the spotlight, have to start over is a really cool setup and something that actually happens in the manga industry, of course without the body switching. Creators in the same magazine should be vying for page real estate, but very few artists actually have the gumption to take DL on. But now the man who created it is doing just that, starting from zero. Imagine Oda switching bodies with a newbie, and he had to compete with One Piece, his own creation, to have pages in Shonen Jump again. I think most people in that position would probably just give up on manga, but Hanagami has a true passion for it. A true manga junkie, as his editor and the only one who knows his true identity calls him. That passion for manga fuels him and his fellow mangaka he works with. Like I said, he starts from the bottom, like the bottom. While working on completing his one-shot to submit to Shonen Wonder, he takes a job on as an assistant. And when he shows up, it's a pretty depressing scene. They're cutting it close on a deadline, and what's more, the series they're working on, Tin Plate Warrior, is about to get axed. So the assistants aren't really motivated to do their best work, and you can imagine how the creator must be feeling. To make matters worse, they just got word from their editor that the double-page spread that they spent all day on, yeah, that needs to get redone. But since it's official that the series is getting axed anyways, a particular assistant doesn't see the point in fixing it, especially this close to the deadline, further sending the creator into a depression which leads him to call his own work a nothing series. which leads Hanagami to give him a piece of his mind. When sharing your creation with the world, it can be so exciting and so scary. The world now gets to see the story that you've been crafting with all your heart, but that's what's so scary. What if the world doesn't like it? What if the world thinks your story is nothing? When you finally make it, when your story finally gets eyes on it, that's when people start comparing you to others. That can sometimes make an artist forget why they started making art in the first place. But if you remember why you began to fall in love with art, you'll always have someone who is a fan of your work. Yourself. If you can't see the worth of your own creation, you can't expect anyone else to. Tell me, how did you do in the survey last week? I mean, I just told you we're dead last. Please don't make me say it again. Not your ranking. How many votes did you get? Show me a manga that pulls 0 votes. Think about it. If even one person votes for your work out of the entire magazine, then they're saying they like it more than any other series. You're its creator. You're the last one who should call it nothing. Like the protagonist of the story, I think the author, Ishiyama Ryu, is a manga junkie too. From where he began to where he is now in terms of artistic capability is honestly insane. It's so cool to see that he is absolutely practicing what he's been preaching in this manga and stuck with his craft. Because his early stuff isn't bad, but look at him now. Oh, I dragged the wrong picture in. 1 second. Look at him now. The art in this manga is incredible in many ways. One, it really illustrates how it feels to read a manga. More specifically, that feeling when you turn the page and are greeted by an incredible illustration or a double-page spread. You know the ones I'm talking about. Or when you reach an emotional moment and you just get a gut punch to the stomach. Ishiyama draws how moments like that would feel. He also has these really insane drawings of how people see the new Hanagami, aka Miyama if you forgot about him. But every time the people around him feel that feeling where they think, something's different about this guy, they briefly see the chameleon for exactly what he is. I don't think I've fully explained how cool of an adversary this guy is and how amazing his copy ability is. Chameleon is able to copy Hanagami's art style. After one night reading his notes, he's able to copy his writing style. Hell, he's even able to copy Hanagami's signature perfectly, right down to the way he holds his pencil. Dragon and Chameleon makes the art of manga creation like a shonen battle. Each character's art style and approach to creating manga feels like their own special ability. That is really felt when they start a tournament arc. Yes, this manga about making manga has a tournament arc, with terrifying teachers, formidable opponents, and a huge penalty if you lose this tournament. This is the current arc that the manga is in right now, so I won't spoil it, but Ishiyama does a fantastic job of making this feel as exciting as any regular battle shonen tournament would read. Dragon and Chameleon also takes the opportunity to teach you about the craft of manga making. Whether it be naturally fitting it into the dialogue, or at the end of each chapter, you could be getting a brief lesson on the steps towards getting a manga serialized, or deep diving into storyboards. This manga really cares about manga. It makes the creation of manga into such an intense and fun activity that feels like it's a battle between the page and artist, while also touching on the struggles artists face in its demanding industry. If you don't know, I love to draw. Well, sometimes. Like the creator of Tin Plate Warrior, I have forgotten the reason I love art many times. It's hard to stay motivated. There's always two sides to art and its community. Like, art is supportive, but it's competitive. Art is collaborative, and it's isolating as hell. It's fun, and it's draining. Art is inspiring, and it's demoralizing.
It's not good enough! You have to do better!
And listen, I don't have any advice. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. But manga like this definitely helped me remember why I love art and why I love manga. At the end of the day, you should be doing it because you love it, right? Whether you're at the top, you're starting from rock bottom.